Developing ideas, details, and logic. A lot of students hear that they need to write with more detail. Good writing includes specific details. But what does that mean? Well, it will depend on your discipline, but in general, details include the things listed here. Names, dates, facts, places, statistics. We love statistics. The next time you read something, look for these kinds of details. See how often they appear. Think about how they're affecting your reading experience. Your reader only knows what you tell her. Here's an example. Imagine snow. Now, ask yourself, when would be the worst time to live in the snow? Picture that scene. Would it look like this? This is what I thought of. Not pretty, huh? I lived in Montana as a child, and the worst time to live in Montana for me was during the transition from winter to spring. The snow would melt, and the street gutters would fill with puddles of gray ice. My little legs could not always jump those puddles, so I would wade home in what seemed like a charcoal icy, but colder and dirtier. The ice would seep through my boots and past my 3 pairs of socks, and it would settle onto my skin, numbing my toes. And when I got home, I would pull off my soggy boots, and I would peel off each dripping sock until I got to my foot covered with sock lint, each toe a tiny pink raisin. Can you picture my wrinkly toes? Do you see how these details, the icy, the dripping socks, the pink raisin toes, help you get into my head? Help you understand what I mean? Let's compare some writing, some with details, some without. Let's look at this together. Ifemelu got lucky. If she hadn't met the right people, she would have ended up deported or abused. This sample lacks details. Who are the right people? Why was meeting them lucky for Ifemelu? We don't know. And if your job is to show me that you understand what is at stake with the text you're writing about, then you haven't succeeded, because I don't know what you are talking about. If I know the text, I might be able to figure it out. But then the writer is making me do all the work here, and that's not my job. I'm the reader. The writer needs to make my job easier, and details can help with that. Let's look at this together. Ifemelu was lucky she met Kimberly. Even though Ifemelu was undocumented, Kimberly hired her as a nanny. More than that, Kimberly befriended Ifemelu, and she was happy when Ifemelu started dating her brother, Kurt. Kurt also helped Ifemelu. He used his connections and privilege to get her a job, and not just any job, but a job that would sponsor her green card. With this help, she avoided deportation, and she avoided the kind of people who prey on undocumented immigrants. Now this is better. We have names, Kimberly, Kurt. We have specific facts. Ifemelu worked as a nanny. Kurt helped her get a job that got her a green card. Those things helped her avoid other hardships. This writer shows she knows and understands what is at stake with the text she read. Here's another example. In my country, I used to enjoy the weekend. I would see my family and have fun. In my country? Well, how do I know what country you're from? How would I know? How exactly did you enjoy your weekend? Did your family make it fun? Or they were a pain, but you still had fun? Let's read this. In Mexico, I would enjoy the weekend. Saturdays, my father would take me to the movies or to sporting events, and on Sundays, my extended family would meet for dinner at my grandmother's house. She lived far from town, and we would drive to her ranchero. When we arrived, the kitchen would smell of onions and chiles. The grown-ups would talk, and the cousins would play hide and seek or soccer, or if it were raining, we would play card games and tell scary stories. In the U.S., I work weekends. I spend all my time taking coffee orders and serving people who don't look at me. My happy weekends exist only in my memories. Can't you picture it? Can't you smell it? Don't you feel a little sad for that change in the writer's life? It's because you're seeing it. You're seeing it through details. Here's one last example. Let's read it. The system benefits the wealthy while workers struggle to make ends meet. It's totally unfair. Now let's read this. The American economic system benefits the wealthy. Just look at CEO compensation. According to the LA Times, chief executive officers of American corporations earn on average $16.3 million. Their compensation has increased 997% since 1978. This is far from true for average workers who between 1978 and 2014 saw their compensation grow by 10.9%. Corey. The result is clear. As Aaron shows, workers struggle to make ends meet while the rich just get richer and richer. Is this democracy? Is this freedom? This example gets at something important. Remember that video on audience and purpose? The one that talked about your professor's graduate school training? Remember how she learned to love data? When you make an argument and back it up with reliable sources, citing reliable data, you're giving her what she has been taught to love. So do that. Help me hear you. Speak the language of your reader. Let's look at something else about this last example. The example doesn't just use details, it builds upon them using logic. Let's look at how each idea builds on the last. The system benefits the wealthy? Well, how do we know? CEOs are compensated a lot. How does that benefit just the wealthy? Their compensation has increased almost 1,000% since 1978. The average worker's compensation has increased almost 11% since 1978. What does that mean? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Is that fair? No, it's not. Depending on the essay, organization, focus, and development can be helped by following a linear chronology. Start at the beginning and work your way to the end. Let's go back to the paragraph on family weekends. Look at the sequence. It starts in the past. It talks about Saturdays before it talks about Sundays. It talks about the past before it talks about the present. In doing so, it acknowledges that we can't make sense of a present unless we put it in the context of the past. So chronology isn't just about a timeline, although those are easy for readers to follow. Chronology is about context, or whatever you're writing, your reader will understand you better if they first understand the context of a situation or an argument. So, give context. There is one other really important tool for writers when it comes to developing ideas: examples. Our next video will tackle that.